Hello everybody, welcome to Stockradar Stocks on the Move for another week. Coming to you on Wednesday night. I'm going away for a birthday weekend for a few days, so I won't be able to do the show tomorrow. So tomorrow's date is the 19th of the 2nd, 26. And my name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. So Wednesday night, after a pretty strong market today, it's been pretty interesting. Haven't got all the closes in there yet, but we know what's happened today. Most stocks have been strong. A lot of investors have been pretty well caned by this market. They've suffered pretty badly because some of the stocks like insurance, technology, communications, health stocks have all been beaten around pretty badly. We've had a couple of nasties ourselves, which we've managed out appropriately, as we do. We ride the trend of the others, which is mainly in the gold mining sector, resource sector. Okay, so we're forgetting the downtrends. They're all filtered out. This is all about survival. This is all about safety. And it's an odd story. They've stocks that are going down, and they've fallen, and they can fall further. And CSL is a good example of that. And there's a lot of other stocks example of that. So what we need is evidence, and not hope when we're trying to pick our stocks. So we follow the trends. Their odds on to rise further and surprise us all. And BHP is a pretty good example of that. It's a little bit of a darling stock today on our market. So this market has been all about trends and momentum, okay, and some pretty divergent stocks, but we're all on the right side of most of these stocks, and there's some really good trends, and we're going to have a look at a few today. But firstly, we're going to go through the trend intensity ratings. The top 10 trend intensity ratings, and we've got BHP at the top there, which has just risen to new highs this week. So far this week, it hasn't closed, but it finished high last week. We've got two banks in there, Westpac, ANZ, NAB's down the bottom there, which has had a roaring day today. Sims Group's doing well, Resolute Gold's in there, Rio's also doing nicely, Dalrymple, Nickel Mines, and then Evolution Gold there as well. So that's our top 10 at the moment. Not a complete story because there are more top 10s there, but that's the basis of it. There's a good cross-section of stocks there for you. Our markets, as far as stocks picks go, we're actually up 1 this week to 36, but we had 4 out and we had 5 in, so a bit of a rotation going on there. So that's the state of the market again. The 36 only trending stocks are 158, so that's really where we're at the moment. Our portfolios are pretty well full at the moment and going okay. Now quickly we're going to go across to the overseas markets, and it's a bit of a story, a bit of a change happening here slowly but surely, not showing up so much on the Dow, but much more on the other two indices. So we can see a little bit of selling here appearing on the Dow here, these red bars. It's still going up, so it's pretty well okay, the Dow, but when we go across here and look at the S&P, we can see the stocks, S&P hasn't really made many gains for a while, and now we're starting to see a few more red bars here. So some sellers are out there challenging this trend at the moment, and it's even more evident on the Nasdaq, which we can see clearly here, some very, very big volume here. Momentum slipped quite badly. And so we're watching this area down here at S1 there for some sort of turn there maybe. That's just background stuff. Our market, S&P 200 index, it's changed. I think it's pretty well closed right on the high today. This is updated from yesterday. It's pretty well closed right on the highs. I think it's just through 9,000 today. So it'd be nice if we can finish the week above there, but we'll have to wait and see. But it still looks very good. It's returned to those highs pretty quickly, and we may see it through there. We never know. Gold continues high. No real problem there. It's just, there's been a couple of bouts of selling, but it's still going up, so that's okay. Copper's having a bit of a correction at the moment. It's had a pretty big rally since September last year, and we're seeing a bit of a pullback there, and that's fine. And Brent crude, well, it's just knocking on the door there of this reversal point. Can't seem to really get through here. There's a real battle going on here. So the sellers have now come in here to meet these buyers. So it's an interesting story here. So we just wait and we watch, and the thing will unfold. Not that we're trading it, but it gives us an idea of what support some of the oil stocks might get from Brent crude. So that's looking probably a little bit more interesting than it has from a long time. Okay, so now we're going to go to have a look at some stocks on our market. Okay, so first we go to ANZ, which had a good break this week. Good report, good break, as has NAB today. Hang on, let me just get this one up. As has NAB today. Yeah, what's happened here? Lost on the charts. Good day. Okay. Sorry, we're back again. Sorry, just a little bit of a blip there. So ANZ had a really good break last week. It's held on it this week. It's come back a bit. That's fine. But good volume here. Momentum's bumped up again. It's above the average, and these are new all-time highs. Okay, this is not a little move above a recent high like this. It's a major high. So this is a telling story. We've been watching this thing unfold for a while, and we've sort of seen these banks, ANZ, NAB, Westpac test these highs, and finally it looks like they're trying to get through. And NAB's also had a really good report today, and the market likes it, and it's gone through it as well. So that's been a good one. Horizon is another stock that's been just slowly edging its way back into here. We had a nice little reversal pattern back down here, good volume. When it got through here, then it's had a kick higher, and now we're looking to move back up towards the highs at R1, which is up around $4. Hasn't been there for a while, but it's looking very good. Nice little trend here. High highs, high lows, reasonable volume through here. I can just show that up a little bit. You can see a few good bars there attached to the rises there, and this the momentum index is kicking higher again. So Horizon looking nice with a trend intensity rating of +9. ALS, another one. I'm just showing this. It's just been a steady trend. It's going on pretty well. Hopefully we can get this up in a second. Having a bit of trouble. There we go. So it's had a very steady trend. A little correction here over the last few weeks. It's now seemed to have broken out of that, and it's kicking higher again. Just a trend to follow and one to raise your stop behind. Okay, and the volume's been quite nice through here. A few bouts of selling here, but it's been picked up again, so the buyers are back there. And momentum is good. It's slowed a little bit there, but that just means the pace of the trend is up, slowed down a little bit. Okay, so their stocks are looking pretty good. Orica is another area in that mining support area. It's the services that support this, the miners, and Orica's done pretty well so far. Here we go. Now we lost it again. It's a little bit of trouble today. Okay, let's go back to Orica. Okay, here we are. So a nice steady trend here. This is just a simple new high pattern here, and we've seen this chart before, but it just keeps going higher and higher and higher, and that's what trends do. Trend intensity rating is +8. It's had a good kick high here. Very sharp higher highs and higher lows here along this one. And we've seen some volume here again. There's a few red bars there, and that's fine. The momentum index is still strong, so Orica is still doing pretty well, and looking for that to make new highs again. Telstra is now moving on its highs again. Will it do it this time? Well, we don't really know, but we're sort of hoping that it might. Sorry about this today. It's not... Okay. Give you a chance to have a look at these these charts anyway. So Telstra, as we can see here, we've had the good rally, but we've really had months and months and months of sideways movement here. We still hold the stock because our stop hasn't gone off. It nearly did here, but it's held again, and it's back making a challenge to the highs again. And I'm not too sure what Telstra's done today, but it's looking pretty good here because we had a good selling challenge here, which pushed us into support. It held very nicely, and then we've got the buyers starting to return, and momentum is coming right back to the sort of the neutral area, and starts to turn here is a pretty good sign. So what we really, what we really need to see is this go, which is the area up around 506, 505. That needs to fall for us really to get excited about it, because we've had quite a few tests of this before, and it hasn't gone anywhere. So anyway, it looks okay at the moment. Woolworths is another one that's starting to come on the radar. It's very hard to get a trend reversal pattern in some of these stocks, because they go vertically, but sooner or later you've got to make a call, and you've got to make a decision. And here's Woolworths. Here's the old highs up here at 44. It's got down to 26. It's now pushing high nicely, and it's now moving above the average, and it's also moving above this downtrend line. And also we'll be looking for it to move towards this area here, which is up around 33, just above $33, and that's really giving us trend reversal potential, I think, from that point there. So we can see the lower highs, lower lows. Bit of accumulation here, a big wave, the high volume sell-off, the last gap sell-off, the last sellers in the market here, and then we start to see the buyers come back, and not a lot of selling's hit this stock for a few weeks. So there's some good interest back in there. Coles are sort of tapered off a little bit, and momentum here is a bit better as well. So it's becoming an interesting story. Finally, Woolworths might be getting something right. You just never know. Okay, now Judo Capital, another one of these little ones like Macquarie Bank, nipping at the heels of the big banks. and it's it's done pretty well so far, and the market seems to quite like this stock. And certainly for the last few weeks, we've seen it push higher. It's not hugely high volume, but you can see some reasonably good green bars through here, pushing this higher again. It's moving above the average. This is all very nice, but the trend intensity is still -1, and what we really need to see is up through about this 230 layer. This would be a good break above $2, but to really get some good support is the 230 area, which is where it began its life as a traded stock. Okay, so from $2.30 all the way back down to about 80 cents, it's now back up near the highs of around $2 and looking to test this area up around here. And if it gets through, it'll be very interesting, I think. Okay, so that's Judo Capital, which is looking interesting. AGL, which we've been following for a while, finally did come in last week. It really had a very powerful move last week and just gained trend intensity rating above +6, which is just qualifying. We see some great volume there. The weakness here is the momentum index is still below 0, but everything else is positive there. And this has been quite a good sign, breaking this downtrend line. So this would probably be looking to move towards R1, which is up around $12.36 for AGL now. And from there, well, you never know. We'll just take it as it comes and see what happens. But I like this move. I like this bit of big volume on there. And this is almost back to positive territory. We'll give this trend intensity rating a nice kick, which will be good. Okay, so that's about all the stocks I've got for you today. I'm talking about this small group of stocks that we have, but the ones that are doing really well. So we're happy enough with that. Another little stock that you might that we don't actually cover, but it's in the mining support area, like Downer EDI, McMahon, all those sorts of stocks. GNG Engineering, it's quite a good yielder, I think, but we've had a quite good steady uptrend in here since about September 24. It's had a correction here, had a nice correction here, and it's now making new highs, and we expect this trend will continue higher again. It's up around 490 at the moment. Just an interesting stock, and in that area, there's been some really powerful moves higher. So we can only hope there. The construction is all good with volume going behind here. Momentum starting to kick above zero, not above zero, back into positive territory again. So it's a stock to watch. Small stock, but an interesting stock. Okay, so that's just this. We focus on these stocks. We don't worry about the other stocks, the ones that are going down with all the red lines and the red bars. And so there's enough meat in this market to get a hold of, not just in the mining area, which is obviously the flavour of the month. But we can see here, Telstra maybe get a break. Woolworths is looking interesting. Judo Capital is looking interesting. AGL Energy again is looking interesting. So there's a bit of a diversity there, not just in the miners. So that's where we're at anyway with our stocks. Okay, so that's most of the stocks I've got for you today. I just really want to talk to you a little bit about the stock pick group that I've got. I talked at the start, the intro, this is about the survival of the smartest, and it's a safety story. The smart people, they're trading these stocks, they're trading odds on stocks, they're trading trends, and they're odds on to be higher next week than they are this week. It changes at some stage, and we deal with that. We don't never get the top. We always wait for a turn when our stop losses go off. So it's just really a matter of following those trends and capturing them. And we do know that they go further than we think usually. And a lot of stocks are starting to do that right now, and we're behind those stocks. So, just trying to keep to those small group of stocks at the moment. Follow your trends. BHP is doing really well. Horizon, which we've had a look at. Sims Group, the banks are doing amazingly well. Rio, the golds, even CBA's had a huge jump again. So that's the pool of stocks that we're focusing on, and that's where we're making our money. So survival of the smartest, the safety story, the safety of trade plans without emotion. It's really a simple recipe. That's what it's all about. Following the trade plans and just telling it what to do. These days, there's so many, we're fighting against all these computers and things like that, and they're not emotional. They make the decisions very, very, very rationally and very sort of clearly. And so that's what they do. So that's what we've got to do as well. So the stocks we've got there, it's a small group, but it's a very good group that are doing very well. Very nice indeed. It's the shape of today's market. The market's always changing. Sometimes there's a big breadth, but we've had a huge sort of polarisation for a long time, and we're back down to 36 stocks after getting up to around about 70 a few months ago. So we've lost an awful lot of stocks because we've seen those techies and those health stocks, and well, not that the health stocks were in there anyway. Some of those com stocks, insurance foreign stocks have fallen by the wayside. I know that a lot of these stocks have bounced a bit today, but that doesn't really make a market. We're really looking for trends, not just short-term moves. So an interesting market that we're in at the moment. And I think the important thing is about, this market and any market is to be respectful and responsive and nimble and drop the emotion. Okay, I think I've told that story enough, but being respectful of what you see in a chart and understanding it clearly and not trying to be biased, being responsive when you get a message, when you get a signal to exit or enter, to be responsive and nimble, because the market does change and moves around, and sectors move, things like that. And we saw today we've got 5 stocks out and 4 stocks in, or vice versa, but there's rotation of stocks. There's always stocks falling in and falling out. Okay, so it's a matter of being on the smart side. Okay, so that's about all I've got for you today. Just a quick run through of a few stocks. I'm looking forward to a few days off. So I hope you're enjoying this market and doing well. Hopefully my Stockradar members are all behind a lot of these trending stocks, which they should be. So the important thing is, I think, is to respect your trends and don't let your emotions overwrite that fact. Okay, a trend is a trend. Okay, so watch your trends, heed your stops. Keep it simple, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you all again next week. Thanks very much.